Hi. 3 months ago I made this video, do not recycle newspaper or cardboard, and where I buried a large amount of cardboard underneath some crummy soil and then planted aloe vera on top and watered it all in nice and good. The cardboard below the soil is supposed to act as a water and air reservoir that feeds the soil and roots above it. This did not work, and I'm going to show you what it looks like, and at the end of the video I'll give some conclusions on why I believe it didn't work and what to do differently. Well, here's the hole. I just dug it out some using this very large pickaxe because it's harder than rock. Truly very, very tough. I tried starting with this sharp metal garden shovel. I could only get that far into the earth. It is just so very compact. So very, very hard. So here's the aloe vera. A few of them are in that pot. I threw the rest over there. I'm going to put them in this pot and that pot. Here's the hole. Here's cardboard I pulled from the hole. Here's some of the dirt I pulled from the hole. Now, a few things I've been thinking about while doing this. Yes, it was a failure, but the concept is still good. This cardboard in here, it's breaking down really well. This was only 3 months ago. It's breaking down great. I mean, it's wet cardboard. It's coming apart. It's got mealworms in it, which is cool. Check this out. For a gardener, this is the building block of life. See all that white and that root kind of structure there? That is the fungus. Here's a beautiful one I found on the cardboard. That is the fungus that creates all, well, there's kind of two types of compost. One is a slow fungus-driven compost, which arguably is better. Takes longer to happen, but is better. And then there's the fast bacteria type of compost, which it makes up any commercial compost, really. Still great stuff, but this is amazing. If you ever turn over leaves that are decomposing and have been in a wet spot on the ground, you might see this happening. Hear weird sounds next to me, bugs or something. So yeah, here's a cardboard, highly compacted and decomposing. Bugs are eating it. And if you look at these roots were definitely growing towards it. So the plants did like it. But here's where I messed up. So first off, I don't think I used nearly enough cardboard. And part of that is because I did not let it soak for maybe a day or so beforehand. And so it didn't compress nearly as much when I was putting it in the hole. Meaning that the hole was filled up with much less cardboard than it could have been. Another thing I noticed is that I had to dig very deep to get to the cardboard. And that could be a bad thing. I think in this situation it was. It's not always a bad thing, but this was so much so that the roots couldn't reach it. Now the main part I screwed up on with this is I had way too thick of a layer of this clay soil on top. So what happened, this essentially is like a container. It leaks water a little bit, but this stuff is just rock hard, and it's like a container. Then I put the cardboard in. I put too much clay soil on top, And that clay soil on top is like a lid to the container. And there was too much distance between the roots and the water down here. But also, that lid on this container prevented the water from even getting to the reservoir. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do it differently. One thing I'm going to do differently is I'm going to create a channel, just an area that allows water into the reservoir. Because when this clay heats up after it's been wet, it turns to ceramic. It's just rock hard. So I'm going to create a channel, which is probably filled with cardboard, that'll reach down into this reservoir. I'll reuse this, of course. It already has that nice fungus inoculation in it. It's nice and crumbly, good texture, very good stuff here. And I guess I'll use some fresh cardboard, but might soak it for a day first. And then tear it up and throw it in there. Not, I mentioned in the original video I'm lazy, so I don't want to tear up cardboard, but when it's wet, it's not as bad. I'll just jumble it up and as I'm going. But and then I'm gonna have a much thinner layer of soil on the top, and also I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it or not, but I can put a thin layer of good soil on top that will allow water to penetrate, and it will protect this clay soil from turning into rock, into ceramic rock, because it'll prevent the sun from cooking it directly. And just put a little bit in between it and the sun, and it makes all the difference. I believe the soil back in here, in the shady areas over here, you can dig in fairly easy, but this one is taking just the blunt of the sun, and it needs some extra protection. But yeah, that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. I don't plan to put the aloe vera back in here. I'm going to try and get them real healthy before I do anything with them. Might not even put plants on top. Maybe I'll spread some radish seed. The radish, pretty strong plant. Stick some cactus here. I don't know. Not the aloe vera, but those tall ones. See that? Those guys. Oh, speaking of which, my original intention today was going to check on the superior pot. If you remember that video, this is what remains of it. I was going to take it apart and put it back together in a different way, but I poured some water on there and it just soaked in. It's still working. It's still good. Superior pot is a good thing. The reason it doesn't have a bunch of stuff living in it is because of the placement. This was out of rain, out of sun. It is a bad spot, bad location. Not right here. It was hidden up underneath that eave. Right there. Down in there. So pull this cactus out, probably put something in there. Not like seeds. Couldn't support that, but an established plant. Maybe some cuttings off of these guys. Alright, and I go do that stuff. Thank you for watching. This has been fun. Hopefully that spot will have nice healthy soil in another 3 months. Goodbye.